If you could change any choices you have ever made, would you? You can always make another choice and change the course of your success. Everyone has the potency to make inspired choices. Get ready to listen, share, and experience the creativity that is you. Now, here is the host of Inspired Choices radio show, Christine McIver.
That's right. It's Christine McIver coming at you from Inspired Choices Network. Hello, my friends. Hello, everyone. Whether you're listening live or you're listening in the replay, hold on to your hats because this is going to be a great show. I'm so charged up about it and I'm so excited. And that's the way we should be about our creations. We should be excited. We should be charged up. And I know that it doesn't always happen. So that's what part of what we're going to be talking about tonight. So tonight's show is called Willing to Succeed, but Not Taking Action. How many of you out there desire to succeed? You have these big desires and you really are willing. So you have the desire and you're really willing, but you're not taking action. How frigging annoying is that, right? Well, I've been there. I've done that so many times until I didn't. And I'm excited to share this with each and every one of you, every single one of you that is listening to today's show or watching on your big screen TV. Hi. Listen, I want you to know that your birthright is to succeed. Your birthright is to be happy. It's available to every single one of us. And all of the tools are available to you. And all of the answers are within you. And it's learning how to actually tap into those answers and how to take advantage of everything that's right in front of you. So welcome, everyone. I am Christine McIver. I am the host of the Inspired Choices show. I have been doing this show now, started out as just a radio show, and 2 years ago, it evolved into a TV show as well, and of course, a podcast. And I have been doing this now since 2011. So I am in my 11th year of doing this show. I friggin' love doing this show. One of my favorite things in the world is showing up every Wednesday night to bring what I feel is important and can make a contribution in other people's lives and share that with each and every one of you. And that's all of our jobs, is to really show up with what we are brilliant at, what our genius is, and share it with the world. That's how we can make a contribution to the world. But more importantly, that's how we fulfill ourselves. So last week, we were talking about what if your business could talk? What would it say? And for all of you that messaged me and shared with me your experience of the show, I'm very, very grateful. I love getting emails, messages from people telling me about what they really got from the show. That really fills me up. And knowing that what we are doing here on Inspired Choices Network is making a contribution in the world. So I am, as well as being a business optimization expert, I'm also the founder of Inspired Choices Network. And Inspired Choices Network is in its 6th year. And I have been producing for 9 years, but we launched Inspired Choices Network 6 years ago. And the big thing that we here at Inspired Choices Network are doing is we're broadcasting voices to the world to contribute to the world. And all of the hosts that we have and all of the over 6,000 podcasts that are available through our platform, through all of our podcast locations, through all of our TV stations, all of these shows are here for your free access. And when I talk tonight about really looking for resources, this is one of the easiest resources where you're going to find amazing producers, amazing guests that have come on and shared what they know that can contribute to you. So right now, right out of the gate, I want to say to you, you have no excuse not to succeed. You don't. And if you can begin to really own that and understand that this is available for you to succeed, and get your ego out of the way because you were just offended by what I said, I wonder what you would actually begin to create. So let's get into tonight's show. So it is true that the first step to be succeeding is your willingness to do anything. You do need to get aligned with what is true for you and what is true for your business. That's absolutely. Then you must must take action. Please know that action is the grease that oils the wheel of your desires. All of your desires are wanting to come out. Your business has desires, and it's coming through you so that it can come out into the world. You are the right makeup for the right combination for your business. And in order for your business to succeed, it's relying upon you to take action. Yes, it's a conduit, as my amazing producer has told me. You are the conduit for your business. Are you willing to take action? So without the action, your willingness gets left out in the cold. Your willingness is nothing but a dream, right? And when I say dream, I'm saying like a pie in the sky. That's not possible. There's somewhere within you, you believe that it's not possible. Before you know it, you can turn that willingness against you without action. So that's something that when that started to come to me, when I was thinking about this show and bringing it to you, it's like willingness left untapped actually starts to turn in against us. This is where we start to go into that self-judgment. Many of us, and I have done this, is we go into shame. We have a lot of shame about the fact that we have all these ideas and we talk a great game, but we're not moving forward. I want you to know that you are not alone in this. This is not unique to you. You are not the only person that has had this experience. And what I'm going to be sharing with you tonight is I really do hope that it contributes to you moving out of that space and really moving into action. So my first question to you is, what is your default? When you think about succeeding and what you desire to succeed at, and it doesn't matter whether it's something very small or something very big, what is your default? Have you ever even looked at that or even inquired within yourself? What's my default? What happens when I go into these ideas of doing something and I don't take action? Do you know? Have you ever looked at that? That's a really big piece. A lot of us, until you want to know that, you're not actually aware that you've got a default. And you do, you have a default. My default, when I would get all of these ideas and wanted to succeed, and this was about, I think this was like back in like the mid 90s, when I wanted to really move into action and I had all of these ideas and I wasn't taking action, I went into massive judgment about myself. And that was my default. And the voice in my head was, yeah. You're always saying these things and you're never following through. Now, whenever you hear your mind say never and always, please know that that's not true. Okay. Because you're never and always anything. All right. So that right away is a judgment you're picking up from somewhere and a belief system that you have entrained into your body and into your mind, and you've been putting it on replay. It's kind of your default place. So you've probably heard this before. I'm just going to very quickly touch on it. Your mind is there to protect you. That's your mind's job. It's to protect you. Your mind is not where your ideas come from. Your ideas come from your awareness. Your mind is a pre-programmed system that is there for your using, for your use, but also for your protection. So whenever you go to do something that you have experienced something quote unquote negative, your mind registers that and goes, oh, no, Christine, we don't want to go there. I don't want you to go there because the last time you went there, you were scared. You were nervous, you judged yourself, or you really beat yourself up, or it didn't turn out the way that you really wanted it to. So I am going to give you messaging to have you choose something else, i.e., yeah, you never follow through, Christine. You're never good enough. Why don't you just stop talking about these things? I'm telling you, my negative voice was so incredibly loud that it paralyzed me again and again and again. It stopped me from moving forward, from having the hope that I naturally have within me. It stopped me from actually gifting to myself what I very easily and naturally gifted to others, which was belief. I have a very high ability to see people's visions, to see their desires, and to believe in what they're desiring, and actually be one of their greatest cheerleaders, as well as being one of their greatest supports to move them forward into that. But I wasn't willing to be that for me. And so it's really important that we are paying attention to the voices that are in our head. What is that voice? What is your default? You need to understand that, and you need to start being present with it. Now, the willingness to succeed is actually excellent, but first we need to do some deep diving. And so you need to be willing to deep dive into what that programming is in your mind, all right? And it may be looking at your childhood. It may be looking at some adults in your family or adults in your community, your school, maybe, you know, people around you that you learned from. You may be looking at them and you may be saying, yeah, you know, I got it from that person or that person. That's fine. Acknowledge it, but don't place any blame, because that blame is going to take you down another spiral and you're not going to get to the gold. And the gold is really finding out about that default and where that default started. If you can actually put your finger on a time, and you don't have to, but if you can put your finger on an event in your life where you first started to repeat that in your mind, that will actually be a huge gift, because you can actually start to look at that, the truth of that. And, you know, if you're listening to my show, you're watching my show right now, you're going to be somebody who's an adult. You're going to be somebody who has had at least 20 to 30 years in your life where you've already started to experience this. Okay. So you will be able to take that memory and you'll be able to look at the truth of it in a very different perspective, aside from that space where that child within you is still holding that belief and allowing that to repeat and repeat. I hope that really makes sense. So I want you to be willing, first of all, to do that deep dive into what is it that is holding me back from my willingness to take action. What is that? Remember that if nothing changes, then nothing changes. It's very important that you acknowledge when you are going into your victim profile, all right? Your victim mentality, we all have it. Every single human being has that victim mentality. You access it. You've accessed it many, many times. Now it's time to get really strong with yourself and say, okay, I can see where I went into victim there, right? I can remember a time when, one of my first careers, I was a human resources professional, and I was on this board of the human resources field. I was the president, and I was taking these exams, and I was going for my certification in human resources. And, you know, to say that I was under pressure and felt very much under pressure that I had to succeed would be a huge understatement. People knew that I was going for these exams. And I passed the first exam. Thank the Lord that I passed it. Now, for me, I'm very much a hands-on learner. To sit and read and study is not my natural state. So that's a very big challenge for me. So there was 2 exams to this certification, and the second exam was much more intense. And I actually failed that second exam. Well, I'll tell you something. You couldn't have convinced me that there wasn't something wrong with my brain. There's no way you could have convinced me. I beat myself up for 3 months nonstop because I really believed that I couldn't succeed. I talked a great game, but I couldn't succeed. I couldn't take the action that was required to really make a difference in my own world to succeed at that exam. And I remember kind of beginning to tap into what I was programming. What I was doing is I was staying in my head, and I wasn't really holding myself accountable to do what I needed to do to learn this information. So I actually went to my sister's cottage, and at that time they didn't have a TV there. It was winter time. We only had the telephone on the wall. I did not have a cell phone. So I was really kind of stuck. And the only thing that I could do was to, walk outside in the snow or to study or beat myself up. And I did. I beat myself up for a good while. And then I finally said to myself, okay, you are here. You are in the best circumstances. Do this. Just take a step, take a step, take a step. And that's what I started to do. I started to take a step. And by the end of that weekend, I left knowing that I had done more studying, and my confidence had risen more in that 2.5 days than it had in probably 2 years of studying. And I passed that exam, and I gave myself, that was kind of that start of understanding my default and what I was saying to myself that was stopping me in a lot of different areas. So we're up for our first break of the show. I've got a lot more I want to share with you. I'm really happy that you're here. And if you're there in TikTok and you would like to join and ask some questions, you can come on over to inspiredchoicesnetwork.com/chat room, and you can interact with us there. You can also, if you're in Facebook, please as well come join us. We're going to be turning off Facebook now, but you can always reach out to me, Christine, at inspiredchoices.ca. And I would love to hear any questions that you have, any comments that you have. And if you would like to learn more about how you can really change this and move into succeeding with your desires, well, you just need to reach out and we can set up a session. So stay tuned, everyone. You are listening to Inspired Choices with myself, Christine McIver, on the Inspired Choices Network. Willing to succeed, but not taking action? Stick around. We'll be right back.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on our past experiences or what others believe. What would our lives be like if we made our choices based on what we desire for our futures? When you join Inspired Choices Radio Show with Coach Christine McIver, you'll be provoked to look at what is true and what you know, but may not choose, that requires your attention. Christine does not hold back and brings all her expertise during each and every show. Are you ready to create the life and the living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices Radio Show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email becomeahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is the Inspired Choices Show with Coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@InspiredChoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for joining tonight. Again, if you are listening live, I'd love for you to join us in the chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can be asking questions, and you can also join us in the live recording studio as an audience member. So tonight we are talking about willing to succeed, but not taking action. I'm going to tell you one of the biggest reasons, one of the absolute biggest reasons that we don't take action when we have the desire to succeed. It's because we are thinking about things far, far too much, when action will actually guide us and teach us. All right. So let me give you an understanding of this. So one of the things that I learned over my years of human resources, and I'm sure you've taken different personality traits. This one particular personality trait, test actually showed if you were one of three brain types: the way you talked, or the way you thought, and the way your brain processed. Well, the one trait is called, or the one brain type is a red brainer. Okay. And a red brainer is someone who needs to see the beginning, middle, and end of something they're going to take action on. And when that red brain cannot see the beginning, middle, and end, they don't take action. So they don't understand. And this is subconsciously. They're not doing this consciously. They just don't understand that they can't take action because they can't see the whole thing. So what I began to learn is, because I would have all these ideas, but my primary red brain was not seeing the whole process, along with that negative self-talk. When I began to understand that my red brain was different than my desires, nearly like there's two people there. When I started to understand that that red brain needed support, I began to learn that if I would take some action, it would start to allow the information that I required, that my red brain required, it would allow it to unfold. So when I say that the action is going to guide you and teach you, it truly, truly is. It's as if you're going to take one step, and then you're going to start to open up to and start to understand that, oh, this is the next step. And honestly, the very first step that I will take is I will write down the idea on a piece of paper, and I will just put the date, today's date, and I'll write the idea down. And just that simple action begins to bring forth the next thought and the next thought. And I'm in motion. When you start to become in motion, the ideas will, maybe slowly, but the ideas will start to shift. And when you are in that space of creativity and ideas, and you're taking those steps, and one is leading to the next, that negative brain quiets down very significantly. So you're actually supporting yourself getting out of negative thought when you just take a step. It's not hard to take one step. But I want to ask you this question, and it may seem like a weird question, but I'm serious when I ask you this. How much do you like creating confusion and problems in your life? Truly, how much do you enjoy that? And there's a part of us, especially our victim selves, that enjoys the drama. Like, oh my God, how many of us enjoy the drama? And if you don't think you enjoy the drama, go look at your video reels. What videos have you been watching of recent in the last couple of years? What are the ones that really draw you in and get your attention? Why do you think news does so well? Because people love drama. We all love drama. It gives us an acceleration. There's an adrenal rush with all of that, and we enjoy that energy. But you've got to really start to look at how much you're enjoying that, and it's actually impacting you in a negative way. Once you realize that there is some drama that you are enjoying, you want to start to ask yourself, is this a pattern? Is this actually a pattern of yours, that you go into drama and you go into this space of, I'm a victim, I'm a victim. Like, when you're in that space, have you been told, look at this and ask yourself, have you been told that you're not strong at taking action? Have you been told that you're not strong at taking action, and therefore it's actually slowing you down at taking action? You know, every statement that anybody has ever said to you, negative or positive, and there's really not a negative to anything, there's something in there for you to learn and grow from. So if there is that energy around, you know, I'm not smart enough, or I never take action, start looking at that and ask yourself, what do I enjoy about this thought, about this belief? What do I enjoy about it? Do you get to have a collective of poor me's with your colleagues and your friends and your family? Do you get to sit around and moan and complain? There's more community in moaning and complaining than you will ever actually realize. People love to complain. And if you show up to the group and you're not complaining, how many of you have actually had people look down their nose at you like, who does she think she is? Like, she's all that, she doesn't have any problems. Like, what's she doing here? I don't really like her. People will actually not like you. They will unattach from you. They will unattach from you. They will take you out of their friend group and their connections when you aren't living a miserable life. Can you imagine? She's all that in a bag of chips. Exactly. That's exactly what it is. So I want to ask you this question, and I want to stay on this piece for just a little bit more about the victim. Ask yourself, is my avatar in life a victim? Is my avatar in life a victim? Now, if you're willing to be honest with yourself, or if you're challenged with really being straight up with yourself, do you have someone that you feel safe, that you feel like you can be vulnerable with them around the thoughts and around your behavior, where they can actually assist you in looking at that to see if there's a truth in that? Now, there is nothing wrong with if you've just discovered that your avatar is a victim. There is nothing wrong with that. Your willingness to look at that says that you are willing to change it. And that is the gift right there. You are in a world where plenty of people, probably 75 to 80% of people, are playing the victim several times throughout their lives at great length, right? There's people that look at things in different ways and different lights. Is something happening to me, or is there an experience that I'm learning from? When you start to see it in that way, you start to open up that space to really create that life that you desire. And that's where action will start to really come in. Ask yourself as well, is being a victim working for me? Is being a victim working for me? Now, I'll tell you something. For many of us, when we were in victim, it felt good. When we were doing the boo-hoos, people would come in and they would try to save us and rescue us. Do you really want to be saved? Do you really want someone else to come in and take over, take control of your life, take control of what you should be doing? If you're an adult, please, if that is going on, have a little checkup from the neck up conversation with yourself, because my God, you don't need a parent anymore. And you certainly don't need someone else telling you what to do, because here's the thing, they are operating from their point of view. They are operating from what is true within them. They are operating from everything that is within them. And they might be projecting that onto you, which in the end will not actually be a gift for you to succeed. I want you to remember this: not taking action, not making a choice, not stepping forward to change your world is a choice. And it's a very conscious choice that you are making, because you're buying into the lie that you are a victim, and you are not a victim. And I want you to know this: it takes more energy to not take action in your life than to take action when you are in your genius, when you are in your purpose. When you really are aligned with what lights you up in the world, when you are really in alignment with the things that make you giggle, the things that you want to share with your bestie, when you are doing something and time just goes away, when you realize that you've been at something and you didn't even realize that the things were going on around you that really weren't that important, but that were the old drama. That's when you know you are in your genius. That's when you know that you are actually in a fabulous state. And it takes less energy to succeed than it does to not succeed. Let me repeat that. It takes less energy to succeed than it does to not succeed. You actually have to slow down your energy. You have to slow down your body, and you nearly have to be contracting yourself and your body in order for you to stay in your pity party, in your my victim, in your not taking action. Now, some of what I'm saying tonight may trigger you, and I'm glad. I'm glad if it triggers you and you're here, because what that means is there's some part of you that is ready to change this. And when you're willing to get out of that state of mind and you're willing to be triggered and look at why am I being triggered? Not that, Christine's an awful person, and you can think that about me, that's fine. But when you're willing to really look at why am I being triggered, kind of like you're the science project and you're also the scientist, and you're stepping back and you're looking at what's going on, what you're experiencing, and you're willing to really dive deep into that. That's where change is going to happen so quickly and easily, when you are there and you're willing to really change it. So my friends, I would love for you to stick around. We're going to go to our next break. We've got so much more I want to share with you. And I really want to encourage you to know that you can change anything that's not working for you. You absolutely can. We'll dive into more of that after this commercial break. You're listening to Inspired Choices with myself, Christine McIver, here on the Inspired Choices Network. We'll be right back.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on our past experiences or what others believe. What would our lives be like if we made our choices based on what we desire for our futures? When you join Inspired Choices radio show with Coach Christine McIver, you'll be provoked to look at what is true and what you know but may not choose that requires your attention. Christine does not hold back and brings all her expertise during each and every show. Are you ready to create the life and the living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices radio show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is the Inspired Choices Show with Coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@InspiredChoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Hey everybody, welcome back. I am so happy to have you here. Tonight we are talking about success and why you're not having it. Please know that it's available to you. It absolutely 100% is available to every single solitary person, regardless of your circumstances. And how do I know that? Because every single person out there knows someone who was in such terrible circumstances, like Helen Keller, right? Is that the right name? Sorry, brain just blanked. People that, didn't have legs, people that didn't have arms and they're succeeding, people that had the most unimaginable places where they grew up and circumstances that who would have ever expected they would succeed, and they do. This success is available to you, and it's available to you when you are willing to tap into you and do the deep dive work. How many of you have said, I will do anything, I'll do no matter what it takes to change what's going on? How many of you have actually been at that space where you're screaming, enough, I can't take any more of this, I'm going to do whatever it takes? Well, I want to congratulate you, because when you bump your face, bump your nose, fall down flat on your ass with complete anger and tears and absolutely wrung out like a wet cloth, when you get to that space, get excited, because you are now so damn determined that nothing and no one is going to stop you. And that, my friends, is so exciting. That is the space of change. And if that's what it takes for you to change, okay, so that's what it takes for you to change. It doesn't matter. There's no right way or wrong way to change. There's no right way or wrong way to make your life turn out the way that you see it in your heart, the way that you see it in your dreams. There's no right or wrong way. But do know that, one, you have the ability, if just with you having the willingness. And two, there's so much success in the world available. There's no lack of prosperity, of opportunity, of people in the world to inspire us and move us forward. You are living in a time where there is an endless amount of opportunity to learn and grow. Endless. You are not the victim of your location. You're not the victim of your finances. You are not the victim of anything that has stopped generations and generations and generations before you. If I believe probably 90% of the world has a cell phone. If you have a cell phone, you have a university, you have a dictionary, you have connections, you have opportunities, and you have possibilities in your hand with your cell phone. You do. Now, the difference between having a cell phone and just going around it, looking what's going on, and actually using it to your advantage is choice. So what choice are you willing to make today that you were not willing to make yesterday? Are you willing to really look at the makeup of your behavior to change everything in your life? Are you willing to do that? It's available to you, and you're not a victim. Stop with the stupid excuses. Stop buying the lies that there is something wrong with you and you're not going to be happy. Get out of your own way with that victim thinking. That is going to stop you. But here's the thing. Taking an action a day, one action a day, can begin to change all of this. One action at a time, one step at a time. I'll tell you, in my business with the Inspired Choices Network and with working with people, doing business coaching with them and training staff and learning about what's changing in the world, my plate is super, super full. And there are days where my old patterning would go, it's too much, I can't handle it, I'm overwhelmed, I can't go there. No, that's not actually true. And I check myself. I go, okay, what can I do today? What can I do? Well, one of the first things that I do is I start making lists. I'll make a list, and I don't need to list out 100 things that I need to do, but I'll start to make a list, and I will prioritize 3, 5 of those items on the list. And I will have that ready to guide me in my day. I will also feed myself well. I will nourish myself with walking. I will nourish myself with laughter. I will take care of this vessel that I have. And then I will begin to take action, but not from the space of, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, I have all this to do. I will take action from the place of space. I will expand my energy out. I will love myself forward as I do one thing and then the next thing, and the next thing. And I have said this, I've probably said this on every single show, but this is very important. If you want to be inspired tomorrow to take action again, this is so critical. Get a list, get a book, doesn't matter. This is one of my books that I have. Write down what you succeeded at. Now, you can use that same list that you had made your to-dos and actually take one of your favorite highlighters. Maybe blue is your favorite color, and highlight what you've completed. And then use that list to actually inspire you forward. Acknowledging your steps, the actions that you took, will actually fuel you for tomorrow. You can motivate yourself by looking at what you succeeded at. Now, it's not about, if you have 10 things on the list and you complete all 8 of them. It's not that. Sometimes it's one thing. It's a big thing maybe that you worked at and it took you a while to get there, to get it completed. Actually looking at that and going, I did it, I completed that. And you celebrate that. You celebrate and you thank yourself for doing an amazing job. A success list will inspire more action, and more action will inspire more success. It becomes this absolute beautiful dance that you get to have with you. But you've got to be willing to get out of your own way, and you've got to be willing to take a step. Action is not completion. Understand that. Beginning with step 1 of 100 steps is still action, right? It's one step at a time. And once you have taken that first step, the molecules of the universe, the molecules of your business, and the project get turned on. It's like they're stepping back, they're waiting. When's Christine going to take a step? When's she going to take a step? When's she going to take a step? And as soon as you start to take that step, even if it's just writing that name down of that project and putting that date, even if it's just that, the molecules start to turn on. You hit the start button, and that start button starts to turn on the machine, turn on everything that's conspiring in your favor, everything that wants to bring that through you to contribute to you and to the world. But it's up to you to take that step. So if you're not taking the steps that are required for you to move forward, if you really feel like you're paralyzed, you have a job. You have a very important job, and that job is to get in touch with what's stopping you. And if there is something that is actually stopping you, please know that there is a belief that is attached to that thought. Every thought has a belief attached to it. And we don't pay attention to the thoughts that really are quote unquote positive, but we pay, hopefully we begin to pay attention to the thoughts that are negative and that are stopping us. Well, those thoughts have beliefs, and usually there are limiting beliefs that are connected. And when we have been thinking those thoughts, maybe 5 days in a row, maybe 10 days in a row, they start to become programmed into the cells of our body. And when you are in an unconscious state going along in your life, reading the paper, looking online, looking at your bank account, whatever, those negative beliefs start to get programmed back into your mind. They're in the cells of the body, and they come back in, and they're being fed back into your mind. Go read the book or listen to the audio from Joe Dispenza, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. One of my favorite books. I've read it so many times. It has been such a gift to me to really hold me accountable, to look at my patterning and where I am responsible for the patterns that are in me. It's like somebody said once that, my ex-husband had a really terrible life growing up. And I recall my sister saying something brilliant once. She said, yeah, he did have a terrible life growing up, but he's an adult now. And it's time for him to take responsibility for the choices he's making now. And that statement can be applied to every single one of us. If you're not generating the life that you desire, it's time for you to take responsibility to change it. Are you willing to take that responsibility? Are you willing to do the work to really look at what you're creating each and every day and change it? If you are willing, my friends, get excited. If you're looking for support, email me, Christine at inspiredchoices.ca. I love working with business owners. And one of the things that I do uniquely is I work with them to help them optimize their businesses, optimize their processes, and optimize their pleasure in business. So I work with them from their mental state as well as all the business functions and bringing those together, because you can't work on the business without working on the business owner. Okay, we are up to our third and final break of the show. I would love for you to stick around. We've got a few more minutes left, and I'd like to share a couple more things with you. So you're listening to Inspired Choices here on Inspired Choices Network with myself, Christine McIver, and we'll be right back.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on our past experiences or what others believe. What would our lives be like if we made our choices based on what we desire for our futures? When you join Inspired Choices Radio Show with Coach Christine McIver, you'll be provoked to look at what is true and what you know but may not choose that requires your attention. Christine does not hold back and brings all her expertise during each and every show. Are you ready to create the life and the living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices Radio Show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is the Inspired Choices Show with Coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine at InspiredChoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. Yes, you are listening to Christine McIver here on the Inspired Choices Show. And tonight we're talking about willing to succeed but not taking action. Your willingness is actually a message to you that you have a desire to be more and have more than you've ever had before. That's your willingness. So when you have the willingness, know that there's some pattern within you, that some belief systems, some thoughts that are within you that are stopping you. It's your lack of confidence. It's your lack of belief in yourself. It's something that you bought from hearing somebody else or looking at how other people succeed. It's honestly 9 times out of 10, you looking outward at the world around you and buying that as real and true for you. And it is not. It absolutely is not. One of the greatest things that you can actually do is go into semi-isolation, especially as a business owner, going into semi-isolation and really focusing on you and your desires and the actions that you want to take. That will actually fuel you to go forward even more. So remember during the show tonight, I really just want to recap that what is so important is the willingness for you to Yes, desire to succeed, but your willingness to do a deep dive into what is stopping you, looking at your belief systems, looking at what is coming up. What are the thoughts that are coming up in my mind when I start to go into, I can't do that. I can't do that. I can't do that. What are the patterning? What's the patterning that's coming into you, into your mind that is really a lie? Because anything that is less than positive is a lie. It's not true. It's not going to actually happen to you. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not a mess. Maybe there are things that you need to learn. Maybe there are things that you need to reprogram to support you to grow. That is absolutely true for every single one of us. No one is perfect and no one's done until they're done. So know that the negative thoughts and the negative beliefs that are operating within you, they are your responsibility to change them, and change them you can. And once you turn on your willingness to really step into your genius, and you turn on action just by step number one, what's really cool is everything starts to conspire in your world. And before you know it, that creativity starts to fuel the second step and the third step. Don't put expectations on yourself. Don't put timelines on yourself initially as you're learning to operate from a new space with this process, but it really will start to speed up more and more the more willing you are to look at what is not working. Where are you at with having your own back no matter what? Where are you at? Are you willing to demand that you do something? If you've succeeded at something, let's say you've succeeded at, you wanted to be a runner and you ran in a marathon and you did amazing things to succeed at that. Those are traits that are still within you. Look at something that you succeeded at. Look at something that you needed to be determined about. Maybe you gave birth to a child. Maybe you've raised a child. Perhaps you've taken care of a loved one who is ill. What is it that you have done that you can tap that energy and acknowledge the traits that are within you and bring them forward to this moment in time? When you do this, that's you having your back no matter what. Diving into these patterns and acknowledging where you are doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. And it doesn't mean that you're not going to succeed. All it is, you're the scientist looking at the science project of you. And when you do this, it starts to get easier and easier and easier. Remember, you've got to be willing to do the work within yourself for yourself. You are always the key for your success. You are always the key for your happiness. And it's learning to train like a gymnast every day, learning to put down the steps of what you require to do every day to start to change this programming. Put down the steps of what you need to be doing in your business every single day. Keep a list. Highlight the things that you succeeded at. Allow that list to fuel you with joy for the next day and to show you and change that programming that you're not taking action, that you're not succeeding. And above everything else, know that you're going to be creating a routine, no matter what routine that is, and that when you hold the vision of the outcome of success, you are far more advanced at the ability to succeed than you ever were before. This is about getting really, really conscious with yourself and really being willing to look at everything and reach out to people that can help you and support you. Read the books, listen to the books, hire a coach. I have 2 coaches. I absolutely know that if it wasn't for me hiring coaches in my world, I wouldn't be the success that I am today. But it's not enough. I have bigger desires and I'm going for it. I am going to reach my goals because I know that they are available to me. And I would love to have you see that in yourself as well. Next week, you've got to come back. We're talking about why making money is a responsibility and not a desire. I'm sure I'm going to trigger a few people with that. I really do hope you enjoyed it. Send me an email, send me a message. You can find me everywhere. I would love for you to join me again. And remember, until next week, you can always make another choice. Bye, my friends.
Thank you for choosing to listen to Inspired Choices Radio Show. Christine McIver will return next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, be willing to choose what you really desire. This is your life, making the choices that bring you all that you desire.